All right, let's dive into one of the oldest, most dramatic, and, let's be real, one of the most hilarious conflicts known to humanity. The epic battle between parents and their teenagers. So buckle up because we're heading straight into the war zone.
Mom, don't hack my phone. You're hacking my life. If you've ever been a teenager, or hey, if you're parenting one right now, this cry for help probably sounds incredibly familiar. It's the perfect snapshot of the daily drama we're about to get into.
Okay, so here's our battle plan. First, we're going to set the stage for this Maha-Yudh. Then, we'll get into the whole spying and tracking thing. After that, we'll tackle some classic communication killers. And finally, we'll figure out how to sign a peace treaty with a little love, patience, and maybe some instant noodles.
All right, Section 1, Parent versus Teen, the Maha-Yudh. You know, every home with a teenager has its battle lines, usually drawn over things like screen time, curfews, and messy rooms. But the real conflict, it often kicks off with a few key parental mistakes.
Which brings us right into Section 2, spying, tracking, and trying. This is really where we get to see how good intentions, like just wanting to keep your kids safe, can sometimes go so wrong.
So first up, we have the detective parent. This is the parent who goes into full-on investigator mode, trying to crack passwords, reading private messages. The intention is to know what's going on, but to the teen, it feels like a full-scale invasion. The solution? Well, it's about ditching that detective hat and trying to be a deuce, a friend. Instead of phone hacking, focus on trust building.
And that's the absolute key here. Trust isn't just some vague, fluffy feeling. It's the master key. It's literally the unlock mode for a real, strong relationship with your teen. When you give trust, you get access. It's really that simple.
Next up in the lineup is the GPS tracker parent. You know this one, right? Where are you? Who are you with? What time are you coming back? It's just this constant barrage of questions that feels less like care and more like surveillance. The alternative? Try being a guide, not a tracker. Replace those constant questions with some much-needed breathing space.
Now, what's so great about this idea is the metaphor. Giving a teenager space can feel scary. I get it. Like you're losing the connection. But it's actually the opposite. It's just like your Wi-Fi at home. Sometimes you need a little distance for the signal to get stronger. That breathing room builds a stronger family network.
Oh, and we absolutely have to talk about this one. The cool parent wannabe. Here we have a dad's very valiant, but, let's be honest, pretty cringy attempt to speak his teen's language. He's trying so hard to be relatable, but it lands a little awkwardly.
And this just captures the result perfectly. The teen's reaction is basically, "Dad, please, just stop, for your own sake." It's that perfect mix of love and just pure secondhand embarrassment. They appreciate the effort, but man, it's just a lot.
So the real point here is this. Don't try to compete in their world. You don't have to be the coolest person in their friend group. Your job is to connect with them from your world. Be authentic. Be yourself. That's what they actually want.
Moving right along to Section 3, the classic communication killers. Let's look at two really powerful weapons that parents often use, which almost always lead to mass disconnection.
First on the list, the legendary, the universally dreaded lecture bomb. I think every teen knows the sound of that fuse being lit. It's that moment when a simple question suddenly turns into a long, one-sided monologue.
And the formula is almost always the same, isn't it? Step 1. It starts with that classic line, "When I was your age." Step 2, you can physically watch their eyes glaze over as their interest just evaporates. And step 3, the end result is always the same. Error 404, interest not found.
So what's the antidote to this bomb? It's surprisingly simple. Instead of a lecture, just listen. Turn that one-way talk into a two-way conversation. It's all about creating a dialogue, not delivering a decree.
And now for the other weapon of mass disconnection, the Sharma Ji Alert. For those who might not be familiar, Sharma Ji Alert, or Mr. Sharma's son, is this mythical, perfect child who gets perfect grades, does perfect chores, and is basically a perfect robot that all other kids are compared to.
This slide just perfectly captures that teen's inner monologue. Is Mr. Sharma's son even human? Is he a robot? It's a cry of frustration against being measured by someone else's yardstick, especially when that yardstick seems impossibly perfect. Let's just call comparison what it really is. The source material calls it an emotional doulai, which basically translates to an emotional beatdown. It doesn't motivate, it just makes a kid feel like they're not good enough.
And this beautifully illustrates the solution. Every child is different. You can't compare an oak tree to a rose bush, right? Each has its own beauty, its own strength, and its own timeline for growth. The key is to nurture the plant you actually have, not wish it were the one in the neighbor's yard.
Okay, so we've seen the problems. Let's get to the peace treaty in our final section, Pyar, patience, and Maggie. Pyar means love, and Maggie, that beloved brand of instant noodles, is our symbol for those simple, happy moments.
So how do we find peace? Well, it starts with activating a completely different kind of signal. Instead of criticism, try broadcasting the proud of you Wi-Fi. Sometimes a teen just needs to know that even when they mess up or don't get perfect scores, you are still fundamentally proud of who they are.
And it all really boils down to this simple formula for happy parenting. First, pyar, or love, unconditional and obvious. Second, patience, and lots of it. And third, a little bit of filmy drama, just embrace the humor, the emotion, and the beautiful messiness of it all.
And when you combine all those ingredients, you can transform the entire situation. You can go from a Maha-Yudh, an epic war, to Maggie time, a simple, shared moment of connection over a bowl of noodles. It's all about finding those small moments of peace in the middle of all the chaos. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. The teenage years are a storm. There's no doubt about that. The real question for every parent is, are you going to be the captain who calmly navigates the ship through the waves? Or are you going to be part of the lightning and thunder just adding to the chaos? Definitely something to think about.